All right, guys, welcome back to another video. My name is CFI Munden. If you guys want personal training, my email is cfimunden@gmail.com. I'm out of the Boise area. I also do mock check rides. So if you guys are interested in that, hit me up. Okay, so I come across these videos all the time where I see it like this. It's student pilot, crazy turbulence after takeoff. And I'm like, how bad can this be? Okay, and I click on it because I'm curious and I want to be entertained like any other YouTuber. And I click on it and I'm like, not turbulent enough, unimpressed, next. And then I come across those videos all the time, but I can't stop clicking on them because I'm just curious. I don't know why. I'm just like entertained by people in turbulence. That's such a silly pilot thing to like you're watching videos of people in turbulence, you're like, nice. Or like landings and stuff like that. But this is the first video I watched. I'm like, this is actually turbulence. Like, you weren't clickbaiting me with this title. You were actually in turbulent conditions. And something about this Australian instructor right here is just so reassuring because, one, for some reason his accent is so chill. And then secondly, he's so calm throughout this entire thing. And I know that there's like two types of flight instructors. The type of flight instructor who's genuinely calm and he's totally fine with being in these turbulent conditions and these uncomfortable conditions. And then there's the instructor who pretends as though he's okay and he's calm. And on the inside, he's screaming and dying inside and being like, get me out of this plane right now. But I have to stay calm for my student. Let's watch this video together.
All right, so there's 2-6.
Yep.
Downwind.
That was a bit of sink we just flew through then, so we've just lost about 100 feet, but
Yeah,
again, don't worry too much about it, just hold your attitude steady.
Okay,
See, now we're straight back up again.
Okay.
So we'll just depart. Once we're off the end of downwind, we'll start climbing again. We'll see if we can get up into some better air.
Oh, this really climbs quickly, doesn't it?
Yeah, you're getting wave here too. You're getting.
So look at their airspeed indicator. This is where my eyes are right now. I'm looking at their altimeter right here, and I'm looking at their airspeed indicator. That airspeed indicator is like this, ooh, just up and down, 15, 20 knots at a time. And the heading indicator, they're getting so much yaw that they're going back and forth like 20 degrees.
Lift and sink.
No, more power?
No, that's okay.
Yeah, what about a departure
You
call?
can use the same. You can use the same indicator as on the 170 for a continuous climb, but we're climbing all right there with this turbulence. We don't.
Oh, look at that bank angle in there. So it looks like right here, that's the 0 degrees. I'm guessing they have at least 20 degrees of bank in here.
Go too fast anyway. Yeah, you can call departing.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Another 20 degrees to the left.
Rough?
Yeah, not too bad. Just keep
Not
your
too
seatbelt
bad.
nice and tight or you'll get a headache.
Alright, now, where am I?
I remember going on one of these flights, if any of you guys are in the Treasure Valley, and if you fly from Ontario over to Baker, La Grande, you have to go to those mountains. And I was a student pilot, and I got such bad turbulence, and my belt wasn't tight enough, or my seatbelt wasn't tight enough, and I got bumped up into the air by turbulence, hit my neck. Literally, my neck snapped. I was like, hit up, and then I just felt this crack go down my spine. I was like, oh, okay, let me just pretend like that didn't happen, as if I'm not 2 inches shorter. And like I got a free chiropractic appointment out of that flight, to be honest. Cleared up. I felt the blood rush and everything. But yeah, I would say this is actually one of the first videos that I watched where I genuinely thought that they had pretty good turbulence. And I just can't help but laugh at the contrast between the student, who is rightfully quite flustered. He's pretty calm for the situation, but quite flustered. He's constantly looking back at the runway as if he's looking for a place to land. Like, he's got one foot out the door. He's just looking back like, get me out of here. And then their airspeed indicator is all over the place, right? Fluctuating. Their heading indicators all over the place. You know, power, at that point, you're asking yourself if you want more power or less power. And then you're asking yourself, okay, do I want better air up top and risk going higher into worse air? Or do I just like call this flight and go back home? What do I do at this point? And those are all the things that are running through an instructor's head. And there's many times where I would go up and I'm like, it's really bumpy at 5,000. Let's go to 8,000. And then at 8,000, it's like fighting Mike Tyson up there. And you're like, this was a mistake. I want to go home now. And there's virtually nothing you can do at that point. But it's really, really good experience. And don't shy away from turbulence, okay? I know it's uncomfortable. I know that it kind of ruins certain maneuvers and stuff like that, but you have to get used to maneuvering in turbulence because you're in general aviation. You're in a small 2,000-pound aircraft. Like, this is going to be something that you're going to encounter. So get that out of your system sooner rather than later. I remember when I was going on my solo cross country as a private pilot student, I went from Ontario to Twin Falls with my instructor. And the entire time that we were going to Twin Falls, turbulence the entire time. And you have to loosen up your body. If you're tight like this and hanging on the entire time, you get like rigor mortis on the flight controls. You're like, ugh. And then this part starts to cramp up here. Your forearm gets like a massive pump, right? Your fingers are like stuck to the yoke, right? They're just formed like that. You can't do that because it releases cortisol and adrenaline in your system. And if you're not breathing and you're like taking those shallow breaths, like you kind of have some human factors going on there. Low key, you got hypoxia. You're giving yourself, you're not getting enough oxygen in your blood system. So it spikes your adrenal system and it makes you stressed and less able to focus. And by the time you finish that first leg in bad turbulence, like you're gonna be exhausted. So just loosen up your body. Whenever my students and I are in bumpy conditions, I make them go like this if they're too tight. And it sounds ridiculous, and it totally is. It's just laughable, and sometimes they don't do it. But I'm like, you need to just get it out of your system. Like, I just want to see you seize out in the cockpit. Don't let the FAA see you, but I want you to like have a seizure in the left seat and just get the jitters out because you're so tense, right? You need to relax. And just understand that, and the way I envision being in turbulence is that you're like a boat on the water and you're just riding the waves. That's essentially what air is, right? It's like water, okay? You just ride the waves, trust the manufacturer and understand that the plane was meant to go through these conditions up to a certain extent, obviously. Maneuvering speed, I'm looking at you. But they're meant to go through these conditions, and it's okay. This is part of the process. And you don't want to be one of those CFIs, I'm telling you right now, or those commercial pilots where you're afraid of turbulence, because it's embarrassing. I've never experienced this, or I've never seen anyone like this, but I'd imagine that if you're a CFI and you go into like kind of turbulent conditions and you're spazzing out, freaking out, sweating, cold sweats, like adrenaline eyes as if you're getting chased by like Bigfoot, it's probably not really a good look, and it's going to freak your student out. So go up in turbulence, just be a part of it, just enter that flow state, become a boat on the water, and loosen up the flight controls. I can't tell you how many times I've been flying with a student, and I was like, we're just getting rocked by turbulence, and then I'm like, let go of the flight controls. Let go of the flight controls. And what? Let go. And they let go, and then magically, all the turbulence is gone. It is all of a sudden the smoothest day in the world. And my point in saying that is that sometimes if there's no turbulence, you're making your own. It's called pilot-induced turbulence, all right? Or the turbulence that you do have is worse, okay? So yeah, something to think about. This is actually a pretty entertaining video, and if you go back to their takeoff and you look at their airspeed indication, they are just all over the place on airspeed.
We'll come back to about 2650.
Got cabin heat on or something, have we?
Yeah. Bring your throttle back a little more.
All over the place. This is an entertaining video. I'm going to link it below. I looked at this guy's channel and I was like, is he still posting? I don't think he is, but it's Romeo Juliet Whiskey RJW. And the comments were pretty funny. Yeah, always nice when your instructor looks nice and calm. Hats off to the instructor, very calm and lighthearted. Turbulence scares the crap out of me, but he was smooth through the bumpiest of bumps. Yeah, see, I told you, the instructor's Australian accent is reassuring. Isn't it? I don't know what it is. Don't underestimate the power of wind. I'll never forget flying in extremely gusty wind by accident in a Piper 2.8 and hearing the stall horn periodically in cruise flight. I've had that happen before where you're just cruising along and then enough wind is getting in a stall horn that's like, or it's like your just angle of attack is fluctuating so much that you're borderline stalling. Clicked the video expecting to see crazy turbulence. Didn't get disappointed. A calm instructor goes such a long way. That's very, very true. I wish I had this guy sitting next to me when turbulence strikes on my flight. That's so true. Where am I? What am I doing? That's what the student said. Weirdest controls. Those were weird controls, huh? This guy said 330, do a barrel roll. Oh my God. Yeah. That was pretty. I want to see if I can see his bank angle. So this is 0 right here. Man, they're at like 30 degrees of bank probably. Anyways, this was an entertaining video. I liked it. I thought it was amusing. And yeah, that's how you deal with turbulence. Relax. Everything's going to be okay. The plane is meant to fly. But yeah, don't forget, guys, I have a private lesson, cfimonday@gmail.com. Also, I'll be doing a flight review on these Kingfisher glasses and from Flying Eye Optics. I just got them today, actually. So I'm going to be doing a product review on these pretty soon. And then I'll have a discount code for you guys, of course. But all right, I'll see you for the next one.